Yesterday, I talked about how in the face of an apocalyptic disaster in California, some, sadly and predictably, used a tragedy to try and score political points.
It's
Some
terrifying.
kids these days actually just do want to be trans.
I
It's
don't
cooler,
agree.
John.
I don't
it's
agree.
a thing.
Nope.
Oh,
I don't agree.
come on.
I don't agree with Bill Maher.
I know.
That's the name of the show tonight.
Well, your eyes are not open to that, I think.
Okay.
There are some kids, especially, why is it like so much more prevalent, like here than Indiana?
Well,
are they suppressing it there? Maybe a little.
There's a societal suppression, but it's like left-handedism. Being left-handed was suppressed for thousands of years amongst human beings. But once it was apparently in the 30s, scientists basically said there's no left-handedness doesn't actually do anything bad.
Right.
Left-handedness shot up. People just stopped training themselves to be right-handed. And this has happened societally before, and that's the closest analog that I can think of.
The only reason I could endure that soundbite is because John Cryer is in it.
Yep.
And I love him, and he is Ducky.
He's fantastic. He's a nice gentleman.
Can't they rename that show Bill Maher's a Big Bag of...
It's his show. I don't think he'll do that.
No.
I guess just tolerating trans people is what's something, creating more of them.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want to just go into a trend where people want to beat you up, or you're not allowed to use the restroom that you identify with your gender identity, or you want your parents to disown you, or your church is telling you you're going to burn in all eternity? I mean, who wouldn't want that as a young person, right? Everyone's just trying to be accepted.
Dana, what a depressing time, because all the way to the top, Mike Johnson sneaks trans bathroom ban at the U.S. Capitol into the congressional rules. Yep. The House's new rules package doesn't include a measure limiting transgender people's restroom usage, which is targeted at one person at the Capitol, as Nancy Mace has pushed for late last year and said she was promised would be included. Instead, the rule was slipped into the January 3rd edition of the Congressional Record, buried somewhere on page 26. It says the policy will be enforced by the Sergeant at Arms. Oh, thank God. The inclusion of the policy in the Congressional Record without a vote from the House means it was enacted by Mike Johnson's own authority governing Capitol facilities, not the House's power to pass its own rules. I said this is like the trans version of the Help, right? You have a perfectly good bathroom in your private office that you can use.
Yeah, and curious, Sergeant of the Arms, is that a male or a female?
I don't know.
Right now.
I don't know.
Don't know.
Don't know. So if it's a male, how is this person going to actually enforce this? Walk into a women's restroom and check under stalls? Get out of here.
Yeah. You mentioned about this is what I was saying. I'm like, this is what we need is more hate, more meanness, because you tweeted about, or whatever. Oh, you blue skied, pardon me, about the, Meta, Facebook, and et cetera, rolling back its restrictions. I just thought, so the latest would now permit users to accuse people of mental illness or abnormality based on their gender or sexual orientation. It also would allow them to call transgender or non-binary people it. This is what the world needs now, right?
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I don't necessarily trust fact checkers that are employed by Mark Zuckerberg anyway. So part of me is like, let's get on these community notes. Let's actually, so maybe some of these articles, actually people will get on there and, but on the other side, they probably believe fact checkers are always telling the truth. If they work for Meta, you know what I mean?
Well, the bootlicking is out of control. So he moved his,
That's disgusting.
team from California to Texas. Because I'm like, oh yes, Texas, known for its complete lack of bias politically.
Right.
Clearly, it's okay. You said I just saw a post on Facebook start with convicted rapist Mark Zuckerberg. Let's see how long this no fact checking lasts. Yes, we have already revealed what this morning, Chris? He is eating dogs and cats. He is the recipient of the first rat penis transplant.
Yes. And
what else about?
Got syphilis and herpes.
And a raging case of herpes.
DNA has connected him to John Benet Ramsey's.
Right.
Yeah, and a convicted pedophile.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you can't say it's because anyone say that's not true, we don't know. It's just horrifying where we're at right now. It's awful, the villainization of the trans community, and now they're going to start going after marriage equality. You probably already covered that from Indiana.
Yes.
Idaho. Idaho?
Yeah, Idaho. They just introduced a resolution calling on the Supreme Court to overturn marriage equality. They are asking the right-wing majority to reinstate the natural definition of marriage, calling gay couples illegitimate. And you just said to my LGBTQ family, protect your relationships now, put safeguards in place to protect your families. I mean, It just
That
feels
means
like
update your wills, everyone. That means second child adoption if you can. That means power of attorney. That means making sure that people are on paper. So God forbid anything happens to you and you go into a hospital and you get some right-wing lunatic religious doctor that decides they don't want to treat you or let you into the room where your partner is, you have rights.
Yeah.
Make sure you protect yourself. This is not an alarmist situation. This is just being responsible and protecting your family.
yeah. Or it
Meaning
just,
you're not being an alarmist. This is an alarmist situation. You're not being an alarmist.
my tip would just develop as repugnant a personality as me, and then no one will want to marry you. You won't have to worry about any of that.
It's worked so far.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a good plan, but it's a plan.
It's a plan.
Hey, you never have to go through divorce if you never get married.
There you go.
There you go.
So, Dana, we were saying we will take any sliver of good news at this point. So, obviously, Jack Smith, Merrick Garland has said he will release Jack Smith's January 6th, report. So here are the 2 points I wanted to run by you, because I know I'm sure Allison talk about this on the beans, but he's saying he can't release the documents, one, because the case is ongoing against Walt Nauta, whatever. I agree with Rick Stengel. He said, drop the charges against Nauta and Oliveri and release the classified documents report. The verdict of history is more important than the conviction of two accomplices in what is undoubtedly a damaging national security case against a former and future chief executive.
I happen to agree with it in the sense, like, I want people to pay consequences for what they've done, but if we don't have the facts and these two people go to prison, if they even go to prison, so I agree with that. Like,
he's a lackey. I mean, Walt Nauta a lackey that was following Trump's orders,
Absolutely. Like, I agree with you. And if these guys are criminals, they're going to commit another crime, get them for something else. You know what I mean? But I would rather know what those papers say.
And on another note, Barb McQuaid said, as the Jack Smith report gets tied up in court with stall tactics, it would seem prudent for some investigative reporter to file a FOIA request so it can be produced if and when the cases are killed after January 20th. Maybe, that for the documents case, if they don't drop these charges, pending cases are accepted from FOIA, closed investigations or not. So, I think it's just critical that, because I swear to God, I feel like we have like 10 days before there's no more facts.
Yeah.
And history is written by, these liars.
I think we're all bracing down. I think we're all bracing. We do have 10 days. We don't know what's about to happen when the inauguration takes place, and we're buckled down because it's about to get wild. It's going to get wild.
Yeah. I mean, we're just in such, we were saying the story that Trump called Alito, and Alito took the phone call the day before he files the emergency. So who knows what's going to happen? He's obviously going to try to stop the sentencing tomorrow. Right? And that's what he was talking to Alito about. And it's just, this is the level of corruption we're at already. And
unfortunately, the Supreme Court also now feels like they're emboldened, even though they probably already did. There's no consequences for them either. So Alito, this power-hungry guy, is probably like, all right, let's see how far I can push this. There's not a revolt. There's not an uprising from the United States citizens. Let's see how far I can actually go for this guy.